Good morning, YouTube friends and family. Welcome to the Violet Bok Bok show. She's over there. She has the strangest bok bok. It sounds like she's honking like a goose. But I love her. She's going into the laying box. So I thought we would start today's video. I'm a little out of breath, excuse me. With something fun. And as you know, we had an early frost-free date. And a lot of my products, as you will, my veg, was started indoors. So I have been, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, completely overwhelmed with harvest. And my garden isn't even that big. But this is the August garden tour. So let's get started. I guess Miss Violet changed her mind. So you will notice that my trellis is leaning, and that has to do with the weight of a lot of pumpkins on the end that I didn't realize. But these long, tall stalks, these are my loofah. I have had blooms, and if you see, come on, focus. There you go. That will bloom and be a loofah. It is really loaded. This will bloom and be a loofah. But what I can say is they've been very, very slow. Sorry about the focus problems, guys. But I am still getting blooms on my pumpkins. And I did like them in here. I liked having the vining things. Will I do it again next year? Yeah, probably. So I have a pretty much ripe pie pumpkin that I'm debating on harvesting and trying to preserve. This one's coming along. It's also a pie pumpkin. Down here at the end, I have a lot of jack-o'-lanterns that are not as far along, but there are two down in here, and a pretty ripe one there, and a pretty ripe one there. So I am going to have jack-o'-lanterns in August and just hope that they, stay for the season. If they don't, it's okay. Over here, y'all, I'm super excited. These are my Kajari melons. Yeah, Kajari, And you can see they are just loaded. I don't see any fruit on them yet. I planted them very late. It said 60 days to maturity. We don't have a frost date until October 19th, so I think I'll get some melon. I really hope so. And then I just threw in some sunflowers to fill space. As you see, y'all, my peppers are leaning. And guys, that's where I tripped and fell. And so I'm just kind of leaving them, see if they will bear much fruit. But I do have a lot of bell peppers and still a lot of jalapenos coming in. But again, falling into it like I did is not a good thing. There we go. So we shall see. And y'all just ignore all the weeding that needs to be done. I cut back my lemon balm and mint. As you see, I'm getting a second growth of that, which I really enjoy using the mint in cooking and the girls' laying box. They like it. Now, this is what not to do with your tomatoes. Y'all, am I getting tomatoes? I am getting tons of tomatoes. And just ignore what's on the ground. I mean, just tons. What I have noticed, I'm canning tomatoes right now. Here's one blushing. I've got some beautiful ones. Is that there's not much ripe. And the one down there is not good. Yeah. So this is my tomato situation. It's a whole situation. So what will I do differently? I think next year I have 2 new beds. I am going to get some cattle panels one way or the other, or some better ways for them to climb and space them appropriately. I just threw a bazillion tomatoes in there. But y'all, they're bearing fruit. It's just very messy. You can see I've got a lot of cherry tomatoes ripe. Over here, I've got some hot peppers, hot bell peppers, and those are mini peppers. And then some hot bananas, and those are great for eating or putting on a pizza. I threw in some bush peas, and they lied, they're not bush peas. But what I can say is, guys, I'm getting lots of peas off of this little branch, and usually this is my snack when I'm in the garden. But I've had enough that I can actually cook them for a side dish for a meal. Now, I guess we'll just go in a big circle to start. This is my first attempt ever at growing butternut squash. I shared before that the squash require a ton, did I mention a ton, of fertilizer? But guys, I have so many squash. They are everywhere. There's two right there. There's a huge one that's growing in the zucchini. Then of course I have my little zinnias and a sunflower. This is a mammoth sunflower that I've grown for years. I had two. I'm not sure what happened to the other one. It probably got eaten by the zucchini. But it makes a head, if it's successful, that is like the size of a dinner plate. So I love that. In the middle here, I have my cucumbers. And guys, I'm over the cucumbers. I've had a lot. I have two mammoth pumpkins. So far, no pumpkins have set fruit, but I'm babying them and I'm fertilizing them and doing all the things. I have some gorgeous sunflowers, and I'm waiting for them to go to seed so that I can plant them again next year. There's a volunteer tomato. Y'all, my garden's random. I've never claimed to be a professional gardener in any way. Have we, Violet? She thinks I'm talking to her. I will show you my pride and joy is this big zucchini here, and that's just a dead leaf. Not zucchini, butternut squash. So we'll be doing some butternut squash recipes. I am going to trim back some of these dead leaves this morning because, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then this bed here was onions. We harvested all of those, and now it is pumpkin vines. I knew they would spill over, so that's kind of what it's looking like. Let's go up on the deck. Here is the veggie pod. As you see, I have some carrots going to seed, but I do have carrots, and these again are the Kyoto Red. I have leaning tomatoes because I was out of cages. I thought they were cherry tomatoes. Alas, they are big tomatoes, but they'll be fine. My chives are growing back. I harvested all of my lettuce yesterday, and I've kind of just put the roots right here so it will turn back to soil. My beautiful green stalk. Y'all, I did like having the cherry tomatoes in the green stalk. Just know that they're gonna fall over and cascade down, but I think they're kind of pretty, and I have harvested so many cherry tomatoes. I also have some basil. Down here we have some rosemary, and then we have 2 pots of sage, which looks like it needs a little trim back. And then this is what I've gotten this morning from the garden. Of course, 2 more zucchini, actually 4 cucumbers. I took 2 in earlier. And guys, this pie pumpkin is beautiful and it's perfectly ripe, so I thought I would go ahead and, gotta clean my feet, plant it. So let me give you some thoughts about my August garden. All right, hopefully it won't be chicken palooza, but it usually is. My garden this year as a whole has been a huge success. It has not only fed me, it has allowed me to preserve. We've done turnips and we've done green beans, and I have tomatoes processing right now in a water bath. I will have tons of pumpkin. I will have tons of butternut squash. I've had onions, every kind of pepper you could want, hot and sweet. So and lots of herbs. Overall, I'm pleased with what I produced, but I made some mistakes. Y'all, first and foremost, and this is kind of the subject of the video, I planted 6 zucchini, which is 5 too many. Last year I had 1, but it has encouraged me to really think outside the box, find some new recipes, so I'm really pleased with that. In general, everything is overcrowded, but that's kind of the Kym Clark way, and I've I've always been an overplanter because they just look so lonely when you first plant them, one little thingy. So, yeah. So I need to work on spreading things out. And tomatoes, were the biggest problem. Am I going to grow that many tomatoes next year? Y'all, I don't know. What I'd like to do is have enough for fresh eating and maybe 1 canning or 2 cannings worth. It's just hard for them to all be ripe at the same time if you don't have, a plethora. But definitely I need to trellis them up, and I need more tomato cages. So those are kind of my takeaways. I'm pleased with everything else. And those are the notes that I'll be putting in my gardening journal that I keep every year. I was trying to keep track of how much I harvested out. And guys, I lost track. I have all those carrots also that I did. I had 3 cabbage. I had 5 broccoli because 1 didn't really make. So tons and tons of strawberries. My raspberry bush is new this year, but I should have raspberries next year. And I did learn one other thing, guys. Do not... chickens, I swear. Do not just lay your tomato harvest on the ground while you're picking, because my chickens love tomatoes. So, I lost a couple that way, but they turn into eggs. So I never yell at them. They're chickens. They don't know any better. If it's on the ground, they're like, hey, thanks, Mom. So zucchini. Y'all, I can't give it away at this point. Like, I'd have to do a knock and run, where you leave a big bag of zucchini, ring the doorbell, and run home real quick and hope and pray they don't know it's you. So I'm going to try to use it. I've been looking at a variety of recipes, and I have some things to do this morning and a little something to do this afternoon. So I'm going to try to squeeze in some video in between. This may be over a couple days, and I think that's fine. Today is actually Sunday, and yeah. So here we go. Busy day. All right, y'all. This is my zucchini situation. And while I offered it to some neighbors, they were like, thank you, but no thank you. So I think everyone gets to the point in the season where they're a little bit tired of the zucchini. And I know y'all can't see my face, but that's fine. You don't need to see my face for this part. So I have a lot. And as I shared, my sister gifted me this veggieful from Better Homes and Gardens from 2022. And this is grilled zucchini parmigiana. And it says you need 5 large zucchinis. Now, y'all, I have had so much veg that I might have had cabbage for breakfast. Because I'm not going to waste it, and it's super good for you, right? I'm also going to make another recipe where I can utilize these bigger zucchinis that get away from you. That happens. So what it says is that you want to grill the zucchini slices, season them with salt and pepper, and you're going to put them in a 13x9 pan or a 3-quart rectangular. I am going to use a 9x9, and I'm going to cut the bechamel sauce in 2. But I'll be sure to give you the recipe as I'm using it, and then you can double it if you're feeding a large family. Somewhere in here it says it works best if, here you go. Tip, ideally you need zucchini that measure 9 inches in length to cover the width of the baking dish. So, guys, it's really pretty, but it may be a Pinterest fail. So I'm gonna kind of lay my zucchini in here and figure out which ones I think will work best. These have all been washed, as you can tell. Well, that one's got weird bumps on it, but I'm sure it's fine. And the second thing we're gonna do with the zucchini is I'm going to do, I think, a half batch of zucchini pepper relish, because we've already done a relish, but I found a really good recipe that I think will be unique. This, guys, is amazing. You can put zucchini on frittatas, you can do all sorts of things. So the relish will be over 2 days because you have to leave it for several hours to marinate before you try to actually can it. And as you hear in the background, I'm water bathing tomatoes this morning. So what you want to do is you want to, of course, wash your zucchini well, which I've done. We're going to trim the ends. I always trim the blossom end too. In cucumbers, if you don't trim the blossom end, it can cause your pickles to be more mushy because it contains an enzyme. I don't know if that's true with zucchini, but hey ho. I'm gonna start with these 3 and then continue to prepare. So what it says is to cut them lengthwise like this, you know, so that it looks like, almost like noodles, I would say, like lasagna noodles. And the first step is to, of course, season them, but grill them. Well, guys, I don't have a grill. Some days I wish I did, and some days I'm glad I don't. I don't have a lot of storage for things like that, so it makes it difficult for me. Guys, I'm going to cut this last one so that a lot of this peel is off. And my girls won't eat zucchini. I even tried to make chicken feed. So let me reposition the camera because we are going to start grilling these. And I said I didn't have a grill, so how am I going to do it? Well, you have to stay tuned to find out. I will link everything I can. I hate not talking to you face to face. I will link everything I can. And just know, y'all, I am an Amazon affiliate. Qualifying purchases, I get a penny. I mean, it's so little. But never buy anything that you don't need or want and think, oh, I want to help her. Guys, just watching my videos, liking, commenting, and I want to say this morning, we hit 4,400 and we just crossed 4,000 and I'm so impressed. So I want to thank everybody that commented on my last video. You know, that was the first time I've ever done a week in a life, and I was like, ugh, this might be boring because my life isn't super exciting, guys, but it's the reality of being a YouTuber. And I like my life. But so many of you said, I will watch you no matter what the content is, and don't change. So I really appreciate that, and welcome to our newbies. So I've never grilled with this. So it has some different attachments, shall we say. So it has a grill pan, and it says to spray it with oil. So we're gonna do that while it's cold. Then I'm gonna, first I'm gonna plug it in. Y'all, I think you probably watch me for your daily laugh, right? I do so many dumb things, like harvest peppers from falling. So there's a button right here that says grill, and it doesn't say how hot. Let me see this again. Okay, can you tell I've never made this? Grill zucchini on a rack of a covered grill over high heat, uncoated side, 4 to 8 minutes or until char marks. So I'm gonna hit start. It's gonna preheat. Let's grab a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to season these with. And y'all, I'm gonna kind of work in stages. So we'll grab a plate. And y'all, one thing I do need to buy is a pair of tongs because I don't think I have any. I rightly don't know. I have big grill ones, but that's ridiculous for this size of a thing. So let me kind of turn here while we're preheating. Oh, okay, that's not gonna work. Come on, my word, y'all. I'm making some fresh tea. This is the last of my tea. So about every other day I go through a gallon of tea. Yep, and I don't put sugar in it, so I don't feel bad about it. It's probably why my teeth aren't very white. But I just wanted to share something with you. It's personal, but the Lord kind of laid it on my heart this morning. And, you know, I think having problems with feeling sad or depressed or anxious can really, let me turn this, guys. Oh my word, what is wrong with you, ring light? Okay, are y'all getting a good laugh? I hope so. But I think it can be a little bit difficult to share that you might be struggling with your mental health. Now, I'm not telling you I'm crazy. I'm not clinically depressed. It's nothing like that. But yesterday was the 1-month anniversary of my mother's death. And okay, this is how much I go to Walmart. There's an older lady in her 70s that I always pick her line to check out if she's working, because she's super efficient, very friendly. And of course she asked about my mom, and I hadn't seen her since Mom passed. So I started talking and just sharing, and it put me in a very reflective state and a little bit of sadness. And guys, I do spend as much time as I can with friends, but I spend a lot of time here alone working. So that's why YouTube is so important to me, because I do feel like I'm talking to you. Y'all message me, you email me, you comment, you know, that's all great stuff. But I want to encourage you all. Don't be afraid if you're struggling either from bereavement or just life circumstances, health issues. That can all be quite overwhelming. And I just want to say, reach out to your physician, to a local resource, to a grief support group. It can be a big help to you. I do have a doctor's appointment coming up, and while I don't believe that I need antidepressants, because I'm not really depressed, I'm understandably a little sad and feeling a little lonely, because a lot of what I did going to the facility on the daily, I knew all the caregivers by name. We would chit chat, talk about their kids and their pets and look at pictures. I'm missing that socialization, and so only I can do something about that. But I just want to encourage you today, if you're struggling, reach out. All right, I'm gonna wait till this heats up, then I'm gonna grill some strips, and we'll get on to the next steps of making a delicious bechamel sauce. I hope you'll stay tuned. What I ended up doing, it talks about 3 layers, is I cut, instead of the 5 zucchini, I cut 3. That little noise, whew, is this ready? I've seasoned with salt and pepper. And I'm gonna fill up the grill here. And it automatically, I didn't change the timer, it's set for 10 minutes, and you only need 4 to 8. So when it gets to about 2 minutes down, we'll flip them over, and I'm just going to continue grilling, and I'm just going to set them aside on a plate. Then we're going to start making the bechamel sauce, and I also have to shred up some of my mozzarella cheese that I get from Azure. So we're going to be using like all the appliances today. But first, I want to get everything grilled, get the grill cleaned up, cooled off, so that we can move on, because I have so much stuff. And y'all, is that the cutest pie pumpkin you've ever seen? Yeah, I think it is. So I have some cucumbers, 1 tomato, I have 4 ripening in the windowsill, and about 8,000 cucumbers in the refrigerator. Guys, I'm gonna do my best. I hate wasting food. Cucumbers are a little easier to give away than zucchini. Oh goodness. I need to find a good recipe for cherry tomatoes. So another good recipe. So I hope you'll stay tuned. I'm gonna grill these. I need to flip them. Well, let's just flip them right quick. Oh, it is making a little bit of grill marks. I think it's gonna take longer than what it says, but we're gonna bake this, so no worries on it being done all the way through. Okay, so, oh, y'all can't see. Let me just lift this up. So I've got a few grill marks. Get this shut again real quick. I'm gonna let it continue to grill. We'll put them on the plate. When we come back, we will start making a bechamel sauce. I hope you'll stay tuned. All right, guys. Thought I was filming, wasn't. So in the saucepan, I have 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to add to that It's probably about 1/3 of a cup of onion, which is twice as much as what the recipe calls for. What it calls for, it just says 1 small spring onion or white onion, finely chopped, 1/3 of a cup. Well, I have some vidalias that I'm working through that I don't want to go to waste. So yeah, that's why we're having more onion. So just to show you, I've kind of pre-chopped everything to try to not make the video so long. So I'm going to put that in. We're going to cook it until it's softened for about 5 minutes. And then I'll bring you back for what we'll add next. Right, our onions are translucent, cooked nicely. So to that, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. So what we're doing is we're making a roux. And whenever you do this, you definitely want to cook it. It says 3 minutes to develop the nutty flavor. Otherwise, you get that raw flour, which is not a whole lot of fun. You get that raw flour taste. Now, it's going to make a paste, but you can continue to stir it. And I set the timer for 3 minutes. Once this is cooked well, we are going to be adding a cup of milk and some salt, some pepper, some fresh basil, and it calls for nutmeg. Guys, I don't like nutmeg. I don't keep nutmeg here, so you can add that if you want. That's pretty classic for a bechamel. Funny the things that we don't like, isn't it? And I'm not a particular eater. I'm sure you all figured that. I do much prefer veg. Would be my #1 favorite type of food. #2 would probably be pizza. I'm not sure what food group that falls into. I enjoy bread, but I'm not a breadaholic. I love vegetables, and I like fruit things because I'm not a chocolate eater. Fruit, good. So we want this to be kind of a light brown. We've only been going for a minute, so I will do that. Keep stirring. You want to stir this constantly so it doesn't burn. And all that flour flavor gets developed into something delicious. And then we will whisk in our 1 cup of milk. I gotta find my whisk. Y'all, I need somebody to come and get me organized. All right, we'll see you in a few, y'all. As you see, we're getting some browning. And now, I did find my whisk, hallelujah. Leaving the pan on high, we're gonna begin whisking in our milk. And it says you can use any kind of milk. I think this is 1%. I bought some milk for another recipe because I don't normally drink cow's milk. I like my almond milk. So I'm just slowly whisking it in. And what we're gonna do is bring it to a boil, turn it down to a simmer. We will still be stirring often throughout. And we're gonna simmer it for 2 minutes. So precise, isn't it? So let me get this up to a boil. And what you're gonna notice is it's gonna start to thicken. That flour will thicken up with the fat. It will thicken up the sauce. So I have turned my oven on to 375 because we're getting close to building our little grilled zucchini parmigiana, or parmigiana is what it looks like, parmigiana. And by the way, guys, I thought that the mozzarella was shredded. It says sliced. I'm sure you can do whatever works for you. So I've done that. I've got my basil harvested, washed, and chopped. So see you in a few. All right, y'all, let's build some zucchini parmigiana. I'm having trouble with that word. So here is our beautiful white sauce. Guys, it turned out so smooth and so nice. So it says, you know what? I should put that in the middle. To layer this, starting with the sauce on the bottom. You know, kind of think of like a lasagna. And you want to do about 1/3, it says. So let's layer this up. And let's get a little bit in this corner. And then you want a layer of zucchini. So because mine are a little bit short, I'm gonna save the pretty ones for on top. I am gonna have to put one long ways, but here we go. Layering our zucchini, so simple. And then, that's kind of a wonky one. Oh, here's a little short one. Then it says, half each of the mozzarella and Parmesan. It's what I'm using is 4 ounces of mozzarella, and it's supposed to be half a cup of Parmesan. I'm gonna take that as a suggestion. I'm gonna put a lot of cheese in it because that's what I like. Oh guys, you can't see so well. Okay, there we go. And I'm just using that Great Value cheese. We don't do cheese on the top according to the recipe, so you know, half of the cheese goes on this layer, and then we're going to repeat it because I think it's going to be so good. More sauce, and of course as this cooks, guys, it's gonna all meld together. I think it's gonna be delish. Okay, another layer of zucchini, and trying to select the this one's the sad looking one, but you know what, it'll eat. It's hot just fine. I did put some salt and pepper lightly in my bechamel. I think you can do that to taste. I like a lot of pepper and not a lot of salt. Okay, where's our mozz? Okay, I should have cut more mozzarella, so we'll just kind of divide this up. So we're gonna have a really cheesy layer and a not so cheesy layer, but I still think that all works. And the last is more bechamel. So the end of your white sauce. You definitely want to scrape that well. Now, to me, this could have used more sauce, but again, I've never made this recipe, y'all. It's just so nice to find things to do with zucchini that are different than just eating it raw. And I was also going to tell you, if you don't have a grill thingy, where is it? Okay, it's right here. You certainly could just, you know, kind of sear them a little bit in a hot pan. You don't have to have, that's months. You don't have to have all the things. Okay, let's put our last layer. Hopefully it'll be pretty. It looks kind of pretty. We'll put that on top. And it says that you can put a little bit of basil on top. And then we're gonna bake this in a 375 oven for 30 to 40 minutes until bubbling and nicely browned. So here we go into the oven. I'll bring you back with the final product. Well, y'all, it's still pretty hot. This turned out almost as pretty as the picture, don't you think? I'm super excited to try this because I like anything cheese. So let's kind of cut us a slice here and see. It's been setting for a little bit. It said let it set for 20 minutes. Well, I'm gonna take a zucchini with it, but that's okay. Hot. So let's give it a taste test. I'm sure it's gonna be ooey gooey with all that cheese. Browned beautifully. And guys, I will tell you, I cooked mine 23 minutes, but Cindy runs hot. A little piece of zucchini with it. And you could certainly top this with more fresh herbs. That's a big bite, Kym. I'm hungry, can y'all tell? All right, here we go. Hot. Y'all, it's delicious. Y'all, it reminds me of a vegetable lasagna. Absolutely. I can't really say I can taste the zucchini, like a pure zucchini flavor. Zucchini doesn't have a lot of flavor. The sauce is creamy. The cheese is ooey gooey. I can taste the basil. Just the right amount of salt for me. But you can certainly salt at the table. Show you what a bite looks like. A normal bite. One bite. Oh. Y'all go try this. I know it was a lot of steps, but I kind of feel different about my zucchini, and I have enough stuff I could make another batch. This is a winner, guys. Something to add. I also wanted to share with you, I'm not going to do another zucchini recipe in this video because it's getting too long. I've been editing. I did not know this, but you can can peeled and chunked zucchini, or shredded, but chunked would be the way I would do it, in pineapple juice and use it as faux pineapple. Like, how fun would that be? So I think I'm going to give that a try. Stay tuned. I may do a video on it. Also over here, I don't know if y'all can see, I have my 3 quarts and 1 pint of tomatoes that I canned. They all sealed. We have our harvest. The watermelon I bought. You know, life is good on the homestead. So when you're overwhelmed, guys, I'm telling you, there's so many good recipes to use up zucchini, and it is a very versatile thing. Also, there are a lot of nutrients in the skin. As I was reading up on the pineapple, mock pineapple zucchini, it does say take the skin off is their recommendation, because even though the USDA says it's safe to can, it can harbor bacteria. I'm not terribly worried about that. And, you know, being a thin-skinned vegetable, if there are any herbicides or pesticides you're buying your zucchini, be mindful of that. I would definitely take the peel off. So I'm going to go have another helping of this. Is so good. Pardon me. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It was a little bit of garden tour and a little bit of zucchini and a little bit of the day in the life, I guess you would say. And this is a very typical day for me. It is only 8:30. I've got a little over an hour, and then I have to take off to run an errand, something that I'm actually buying on Facebook Marketplace that I can't wait to share with you. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. Are you zucchini rich? And if so, do you have any suggestions for what we can do with all this zucchini? Because y'all, I went out and checked. I still have zucchini on the vine. Not big enough to harvest, but it's coming. All right, y'all. Until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.